Howdy folks, Matt and Jerica here with Shady Grove Ranch in Jefferson, Texas. First off, we'd just like to say a big thank you to all of our customers who have supported us in the past and continue to support our business by purchasing pasture-raised meats, eggs, and other goodies. You know, I tell people all the time that we have the world's best customers. What kind of business have you ever heard where when the owners show up an hour late to their own delivery because of a tire blowout, the customers say things like, "I'm so glad to have waited in line for an hour and a half because I got to see how many customers you have. I'm so glad to see you succeed." You, our customers, make this crazy hard work and the long hours. You make it worth it. You were there for us before there was a worldwide crisis, and that's why we're still here today. And now we're all in a crisis, and we want to continue to provide for you, our customers. Since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic a couple months ago, we've really just been trying to keep our heads above water. My poor little Eskimo wife here has just about lived in the freezer packing orders for the first 2 weeks, and as you can tell from our lack of certain items in inventory, our customer base and sales have increased rather rapidly. So we've been working on formulating a plan for how to deal with feeding our customers this year to take up some of the slack and the breakdown of the mega corporatized food system. We are honored and blessed to know that we are your farmers, and we love the fact that we get to produce food for so many of you. We want you to know that we fully feel the weight of responsibility that comes with being your own personal farmer, and we want to provide first for our long-standing customers who have been faithfully partnering with us before having your own farmer was so important. But we also don't want to leave any of our newly found customers behind. We think that we have our heads fairly wrapped around the situation and have put together this video to try to answer some of the questions that many of you have been asking us about the reliability of our supply. So we want to take a minute to share with you some of our strategy for getting food to all of our customers now, our production plan for the rest of the year, and a message for you about what you can do to help this team effort.
So first we want to address the current inventory issues. If you've gone to our online store lately, you'll be wondering what in the world is going on with Shady Grove's supplies. We've had to limit the purchase quantity for quite a few things. We don't like doing that. It feels very non-farmy, but we're also up against time. We've just come out of winter. We've only just processed the very first batch of beef, pork, and chicken for the year. There's lots more coming down the pipes, and it shouldn't be too much longer before we're well replenished. In fact, last week, Matt brought in over 3,000 pounds of pork and beef for processing. So that should last us a little while. So you might be thinking, oh good, finally the chance to stock my freezer. But here's the deal. We've only just begun the harvest season here at the ranch, and the meat we have available right now is limited, but that will not be the case all summer. So here's the gist of what it looks like, just to give you a quick kind of visual, very windy today.
Sure.
This is just a sort of conceptual idea of how pasture production works. We've got months of the year down here, and so this is the winter month that we just ended, and our pasture production, our animal production looks like this through the year. When we're slaughtering cows that have fattened on the springtime grasses, we experience the production peak around June and July. And that's just year in and year out. That's pretty normal. So anyway, I lost my place. So we're not that far away from having tons of meat literally in the freezer. And that's why we're holding the reins back just momentarily while we pace our supply and help everyone get what they need to get through until that more unlimited time. So when we restock beef, pork, and chicken later this month, we're going to be releasing the inventory in phases. So I want to explain about our ESA program first, because it helps you understand the different phases. So
What's an ESA program?
What's the ESA program? It's the Edible Savings Account, and it's where you put in money into your account ahead of ordering, and it helps us bear the production cost burden. A lot of our production cost for like the chuck roast that you might have thawing for dinner started upwards of 4 years ago that we paid for that animal and its feed and et cetera, et cetera. So farming takes a huge amount of capital. The ESA program helps us gain access to that capital so we can keep the farm snowball rolling. The main benefit to ESA members is that they save money and they can use it as a budgeting tool. We have quite a few members enrolled, and we've been doing it for about 2 years now, and people really like it. It's really simple. Oh, and I should mention, it is not the only way to purchase, but it's just an option, an add-on option. But it's a really simple little plan. It's basically a preloaded virtual gift card with instant rewards. So for example, if you send in a check for $500, you get $520 to spend in your online store account. You can choose whatever amount you like, and the rewards are set up on a tier system. It's really easy, really simple. The only catch is that you cannot pay with a credit card. It has to be a check or cash in person, or a Zelle payment. Zelle is a newish bank transfer. It's like an instant bank transfer that's free from bank to bank. A lot of banks are offering it now.
Where can I read more about the ESA program?
Yes, you can find a whole detailed article on our online store. Right at the top of the page, you'll see edible savings account, and it tells all about it and how to enroll. So the idea is that we don't have to pay credit card transactions on your orders because we're not paying. The credit card is not involved at all, and so that's a really good thing too if you're anti-credit card. So anyway, I tell you all that because the ESA members are going to get first dibs on our inventory starting later this month. I'm going to set up a private store collection and email them a special link that is just for email it to the ESA members first. Then after so many days, I'll release that remaining inventory, that same link, to our long-standing customers, also by private link. And then after that, I'm going to release the remaining inventory to the rest of the account holders and first-time accounts. Now, that's not to say that there won't be anything to buy for first-timers or for non-ESA members. As I said, you do not have to participate in the ESA to buy from us. There will be still plenty of things to buy in the main storefront, but we're just going to have to kind of meet out the things we expect to sell out of in an orderly way. We feel this is the best decision in a far from a less than perfect situation. So if you're like us and have a large family to feed, know that we are keeping that in mind, and we will have at least a few items that you can stock up on no matter which situation you're in. So now you've noticed maybe that when you go try to put something in your cart that we are limiting certain items. So we are going to continue to do that just for a time, even for ESA people, but we don't like doing that. It's not something that we normally even ever consider. But if you think back to that chart that I showed you, we're still at the beginning of our stock-up phase right now, and we need to ask everyone to just buy what you need to get between scheduled pickups only, so that we can reach everyone and get everybody fed at least a little bit. So please don't try to purchase several months' supply right now. Just buy what you need to get between deliveries. Our schedules are posted so you can plan. But this is a really good time to consider joining the ESA so that you'll have first access to that inventory. And if you're new to this, take my word for it that we want you to enjoy shopping with us. We want it to be easy and fun, not full of limitations and waiting lists and all the trappings of a pandemic. And we will get there, so stick with us for the time being and see.
All right, let's cut to the chase. What's the game plan, Matt? Give me the production details. Okay, so here's the deal. We have a huge increase in our demand right now. So we're trying to figure out how to ramp up production to be able to feed everybody in a very short period of time. So grass-fed beef takes a long time. It takes time to grow the herd. We're continuing to grow it as fast as we can, but like Jerica said, we started on that chuck roast maybe 5 or 6 years ago with the mama that had to be bred to produce the calf. So there's not immediate turnaround capacity there, but we are looking at some options. Pork, we've already started this ball rolling to increase our pork production 70% in the next 9 months. That's a lot, all right? However, we feel that the lion's share of our meat production increase this year needs to come from pasture-raised chickens. Okay, last year we produced about 9,000 chickens on pasture. Sounds like a lot, right? Yeah. Daily moves, non-soy, non-corn, non-GMO feed, fresh air.
No medication.
No medication, the works. Well, we're looking at scaling up this industry with all the same production standards, because it takes the least amount of time to produce the most amount of meat, okay? But it also takes the most infrastructure. So this is why we're calling for ESA signups right now. If we have enough of a response from our ESA program, I believe that we have the ability to increase our production rate 300% by September. Yeah, that means we'll be growing 4 times a chicken on pasture in September that we have the capacity to do right now. That'll lead to about a 200% increase of chicken this year. And so instead of that 9,000 broilers we produced last year, we'd be looking at 22,000. That's what I've got in my sights. All right. So there's a lot of overhead expenses. Everything loves chicken, like coyotes and skunks especially, as you know from the pasture night hunts. But anyway, we have to build a lot of movable range coops. We have to expand the brooder house, and we're actually going to buffer against slaughterhouse shutdowns by doing some very creative things on farm. So if our team of customers responds with enough ESA investments, God willing, we'll get her done. This is the 10,000 foot overview of our plan. We'll be releasing more information soon.
Thanks for watching.